Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ben Fisk for the Darkfall Protocol. Now today, we're going to do what we always do, in the sense that we're going to try something completely new. Today, we're going to play a game of Dungeons and Dragons. However, I will be acting as both the Dungeon Master and the player. Everything that I am about to do is going to be completely improvised. I will be running this in a system that I wrote myself that I call the Decaline system. This entire escapade is going to be taking place in the Kingdom of the Screaming Sisters, which is a D&D setting that I have actually written 2 campaigns for. The entire point of this is that I really have no clue what's about to happen, and I'm not going to until we get in it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is D&D and me. I wake up in a cave. I immediately feel cold, wet something dripping down my back, along with a sharp stabbing pain as a rock juts into my ribcage. I immediately, through the haze of exhaustion, sleep, or possibly some kind of drug, push myself up, immediately feeling the pain recede but the cold amplify. I struggle to open my eyes, warding off some kind of possibly a blunt injury to the back of my head had I been knocked out to get here? I don't know. I can't seem to remember anything. Now, the first thing I try to do is observe my surroundings. I'm going to go ahead and make a perception check, and I'm going to specifically see if there's any way that I can see what's going on in this cave. Interesting! Surprisingly enough, even though it's pitch black, I am able to make out faint shapes, getting a loose sense of the area around me. There appears to be a large doorway that's going to let me deeper into the antechambers of this cave. The amount that I am able to see suggests that I do have dark vision. So it is now that I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my hands to figure out what race I am. I am specifically looking to see if I have claws of some kind. And I don't. Interesting. So I am a race that has dark vision but does not have claws. Unfortunately, my auditory perception check lets me know that I am hyper-specialized for sight, not for sound. What the heck do I think I am? I want to see what kind of skin I have, if I have scales, if I have fur. If my dice goes on the other side of the table. Okay, that's interesting. I got a critical fumble on my skin check, which leads me to believe that I don't have a corporeal manifestation. I am currently not in a body, which would explain why I'm having such a difficult time figuring out what I am. Am I dead? Am I reincarnated? Did I have a body at one point? These things are all complete mysteries to me. Man, I would like to know how I got here. I'm going to try to move, which I believe is going to be a dexterity check. Yikes! So I attempt to get up, and it's immediately clear that I am not used to navigating without my body. I try to push off of the ground. I'm not really able to interact with it. It's like I'm pushing against a sheet or something that has no substance. And of course I am bound to the ground. I'm not floating above it. I can't touch the ground, but I also can't fly. So that's pretty cool. What am I, guys? What's going on here? I can't check and see if I have a weapon because there's no reason that it would have manifested itself with me. So instead, I'm going to make a check and see if I know any magic. Okay, I'm not great at it, but I know at least one thing. I start to kind of reach back into the chasm of my memory to see if I can kind of pluck the various power words that I have access to. It feels like I'm going to have 3 at most, maybe 2. Okay. It's one of them something to do with fire. I feel it. I've got there's a connection in the back of my head. I am going to go ahead and try to cast the spell Scorch. It was not Scorch. I'm just gonna try Fire. Fire. Ooh, I know fire! In that burst, I'm able to do a quick look around and see that I am alone in this cave room. It appears as though I was just kind of plopped here. There's no hole above me, so I wasn't dropped down into some kind of a prison. Whoever put me here, they probably either carried or dragged me into this room. Or at least they would have if I had a physical body. I'm going to try the word possess. That would work really well with this character, and it would be fantastic if I had some kind of... I also know the word possess. If I can find anything else alive, I at least have the chance of overtaking them, which is pretty sweet. There's a third spell floating around, but at this point I'm feeling alone and exposed, and I want to kind of figure out what's going on, so I'm going to try to venture out of the room. I am obviously extremely vulnerable when I am out kind of in the open, when I don't have a host. It's looking like I'm going to be some kind of a spiritual parasite, and that's a character type that I personally have never played before, so that could be pretty great. I would bet that instead of having an armor rating, I'm going to have a mischance. It's calculated a little bit differently. Now I'm going to try moving with a strength check. I'm basically just going to do brute force of kind of one leg, two leg, one leg, two leg. And that's apparently how this character is navigated. By abandoning all tact and just kind of pushing my way through the air currents, I am able to start making my way through. So here's the question. Am I going to be more vulnerable if I find like a cockroach and possess that? Because I'll be able to move better, but that'll probably make me way more vulnerable. The question, of course, is if my host dies, do I die? Probably not. I have a gut feeling that that's not how the mechanics are going to play out, but I don't know. There's one more question I gotta know the answer to. Can I be seen? I failed my skin check, so it's likely that I am either translucent, transparent, or invisible. Now I'm going to try to figure out which one of them it is. I'm invisible. This is such a cool kit that I've rolled myself. With another series of strength checks, I'm going to... Part of the Decaline system is whenever I get a crit, I'm able to get a perk. Basically, it's just a special thing that my character can do. Unfortunately, I rolled a 1, which means that I now have to come up with a quirk for this character. I'm trying to come up with something that doesn't sound like an innuendo. We're just gonna call it walk and talk. So with this character, I can either be moving or I can be doing something. I can't do both. I'm going to put a lot more concentration into the strength check. Okay, perfect. Now that I understand the mechanics, I'm able to continue moving forward. So I'm able to guide myself out of the area and in to the next room. So I made a perception check, and the first thing that I realize is I am not alone in this room. It's likely that I haven't been noticed, but I am going to go ahead and try to do a stealth check. Unfortunately, I already know that I'm not great at dexterity. Not great. I think my character has an evil alignment, so I am not going to try to engage with whatever else is in this cave with me. I'm just going to try to straight up possess it before it knows that I'm there. I guess we're going to be entering initiative, and I get a surprise round because it doesn't know that I'm here. So I didn't win initiative, but it's a surprise round, so I get to act first. At this point, I'm going to say I'm about 20 feet away from this guy, and I'm going to go ahead and try to make a strength check to make my way over to him. Immediately, I smash into a stalagmite. So my first action is to give away my location. Immediately, I'm just going to go ahead and freeze, and I'm going to give up the rest of the time in the surprise round. I want him to come to me now. I'm banking on the fact that he has no way to detect me while I'm invisible. Ah! He starts looking for me. It's clear from how he kind of stumbles back to the wall and freezes when he hears the noise. He can't see anything. I am pretty sure at this point that the guy I'm fighting is a human, and humans are one of the worst kind of races to be in the dark. He knows that there's something else in here with him, and he knows that he's at a disadvantage, but he's gonna go try to find it anyway. And he actually manages to navigate pretty well in the dark, so he can't see, but he's obviously going to be dex-based. He makes it a good chunk. He's only about 10 feet away from me by the end of his turn. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna just... Let me think about how I think this is going to go. I think it's going to be an intelligence check, and I've got a good feeling that I actually have +1 to intelligence. I'm basically going to force him into a will save in order to not be possessed by me. Here's my stealth check. This will tell me how silently I'm going to do it. Critical fumble. Too late. I've already decided that this is what's going to happen. This quirk solidifies that I may not have a physical presence, but I can slam into stuff, I can knock things over, I can interact with the material world in the most inconvenient way possible. I'm just gonna call this Butterfingers. So I try to move forward and I just smash into a stalactite again, stalagmite. I smash into the ground spike again. I would be amazed if he didn't hear Can we get the show on the road? No one's rolled above a 5 for this entire encounter. Okay. The fact that he can't see what's going on, now he's starting to run away from me. And he trips. He doesn't fall, but he catches himself, and that's his whole turn. So I'm... You know what? Screw stealth. Screw stealth. He knows I'm here. I'm just gonna straight up bum rush him. I am just out of control as I'm flying toward him, and I'm still going to try to do possession anyway. So I gear up my spell as I'm leaning out of control. So somehow, even though I have walk and talk, I shouldn't have been able to do it because I should have been confused. My possession is actually not based on, like, mental fortitude. It's based on brutality. The more physical force I can manifest when I try to possess somebody, the stronger my attack will be. I'll call this street smart, because that's funny to me. I still don't really know what I look like, but I can see the way that his eyes widen, that right before I'm about to impact with him, he can see me. I just come careening into this guy and just meld into him. It's like putting on somebody else's coat. As I'm slipping into this guy, amidst mental turmoil and anguish, I'm kind of feeling out my new coat. I am going to just try to take a step forward. It is not much easier to navigate the body than it was to navigate myself. I was trying to do a dex check because that's clearly what this guy was. Now I'm going to go ahead and do what I did when I was floating, and I'm just going to make it into a straight strength check. Better. The coat's really big and heavy and puffy, so I don't exactly have the normal range of motion. One brute force stomp gets me forward, another stomp gets me forward. There's no chance that I'm going to be able to move in stealth when I'm possessing at least this guy. His natural dexterity is not helping me walk, so I might not be able to get any benefits off of my host, which stinks because my first thought was like going and finding some giant barbarian orc. It seems like that's not how this character is going to play, unfortunately. What is the guy doing? He is no longer in control, but he's still there, I'm sure. Can I hear him? Oh god, what's happening? Oh no, faintly. He is trying to kind of take control, but basically it's like we're yelling at each other from across the house. I'm able to tune it out, and it's clear that I've had practice at doing this. I saw him, and I immediately got distracted, so I haven't looked around this cave. I don't know. Woo! Okay, that was a really good perception check. I have about the same stats, mental-wise, that I did when I was outside of the body. Even though he doesn't have dark vision, I do, and I guess my abilities override his physical eyes. There's a third room, and the interesting thing about the third room is there is a very faint source of light coming from it. I already said that I can't enter stealth, so you know what? I'm learning with this character, I just gotta plunge into it. We are basically going to bum rush into the room with the light, come hell or high water. I want to know why I'm in this cave. Crit, baby! And so my perk is gonna be called Geronimo. The less time I prepare to do something, the more of a bonus I get to doing it. No plan needed, baby. I critically move into this room, which means that I'm able to get my function of running into a place where it actually looks like I'm in control. The steps aren't quite as heavy, the arms aren't flopping around, the head is fairly straightforward. No. That's... Oh, that's way cooler! So I come into the cavern, and because of the light, I'm able to basically see the whole area. Contradictory part of that is I can't actually see much. What I've stumbled into is basically a natural cathedral. The ceiling is vaulted way above me. The walls are almost out of sight, and it's extremely crude. You're all probably wondering, that's great, but what exactly is the source of the light? I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at, folks, but I can feel the power emanating off of it. Not only could I crush you, but I could legitimately do it without realizing it's happening. That's how insignificant you are to me. You're an insect I can talk to. The actual manifestation is, it's basically a giant ball of metal. It seems like it's thousands of individual faceted pieces that are all together. It's like locking eyes with the back of a black hole. If I was from this timeline, I would probably know it sounds like an electric generator. Something that would power, like, a community, not a building. I kind of come in here to see what's going on. I'm in the middle of my brisk walk. I take in all of this, and I kind of lock eyes with this glowing red port at the front of the machine, and I can feel God watching me. I feel the instinct to fall to my knees, but I also defiantly choose not to. Do I do a salute? I think I just figured out where I'm from, but we'll get there. The salute that I do is one arm to the side, one over the chest, and then tilt like that. I'm gonna do it brutally to make it a strength check, so it's not finesse, it's more of like a, I'm here. It doesn't look great. It's more of kind of like a, it's not pretty, guys. It's not pretty. Its voice comes from the ground. It's as if the walls themselves are speaking.
Gesture not recognized.
I'm intelligent, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I can talk good. So I am going to attempt to kind of rectify the situation. Woo! It's hard to know how to move somebody else's tongue around their teeth. I don't know where this guy's from. I don't know what his native language is. Let's see. I can find out, though. I can find out what kind of an accent I talk with. That's surprising. I'm speaking through his voice. So basically what I try to say is, I mean this as respect, but it comes out as... Because the guy that I am in, he's from the kingdom of Solotus. Solotus is a group of xenophobic, we think it's a monarchy. No one's really seen the kingdom before. Their language is designed to be as blunt as possible. Talking equals heat, basically. Really what I should have said was respect. Instead I tried to be all formal and fancy with it. It didn't work. And the deity in front of me, it hears this and it just goes,
disappointed.
While I'm in this guy, I have to be as blunt as possible. Why here? Let's see if I can be as blunt. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Again, just like with the strength, I gotta figure out how to talk.
Why here?
Well, I don't know. To me, it feels like it's pausing, trying to articulate what it wants to say.
Not sure.
It's clear that neither of us is super articulate, and we both have a ton of questions.
Who are you? I am Dvorak, the primordial god of technology.
Basically, there's this pantheon of 12 primordial, primeval, primal deities. They are just manifestations of various concepts, and there's always opposing pairs on either side of the pantheon. Dvorak is pretty well known in Ravostria, basically anywhere where you have engineers as opposed to magicians trying to make stuff. His inverse on the other side is Kira. Kira is the goddess of nature and naturalization and kind of return to the primeval, whereas Dvorak is all about like kind of changing the landscape and making a new future. I'm a spiritual parasite, and his thing is all about like technology. So we are a weird mix. Do I remember my name? I think I do. I'm Corsair. Corsair, I believe, was my name. It's the name that most strongly solidifies within my head. Okay, there's a sliding scale. It takes time for me to get comfortable in my new host. This one's gonna be called, Broken In. The longer I spend in a host, the more natural things start to feel. We'll have to see how this perk manifests itself. I might start to have access to like his dexterity or his language or things like that. But at least I have a perk for it now, so that means I have a leg to stand on if that happens later. As I say it, I feel that that's right. I've introduced myself as Corsair before. Still don't know what I am, but I'm starting to figure out who I am. I feel this primeval deity nod, and it's kind of like,
okay.
I am speaking to one of the 12 primeval gods, so I should probably be the one to, you know, take the initiative in the conversation. Why are you here? Why you here? Okay, so that was a crit. Let's see, tongue-tied. This one and Broken In are gonna go in tandem. I get better with all of these, with basically like the physical aspects. The mental aspects I have trouble with. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. That makes me think I don't know if I'm gonna be able to write. I try to articulate, what are you doing here? It's clear that he thinks I'm asking the same question I already asked, because the light goes a little bit darker red, and again he goes,
Unknown.
I'm pissing off God right now, guys, so I'm going to depossess my host. How did I only barely make that roll? The check I needed was 2, and I barely made it. So now I'm taking the coat back off, and it's more difficult than I thought it was. Okay, it only takes 3 minutes. It's not as embarrassing as I think it is, but it's still 3 minutes of this god just sitting there watching me like, this is not how I thought this day was gonna go. So I eventually managed to get out, and my host body pops up. I thought there was gonna be some jet lag for him, but nope, he's right back in the driver's seat. So he immediately starts freaking out, and Dvorak vaporizes him. You know what? I'm freaked out now. It turns out that I was defiant about not bowing to this thing at the beginning, but no longer, because now I'm going to try to. Oh, thank God. I throw myself onto my knees and I do one of these, and I say, forgive me. That's all I say. I just say, forgive me. Let's see if he appreciates it. Yeah, he's not in love with the subservience, but he also doesn't dislike it. I'm too scared to move, so I'm just gonna stay like that until he says something. I thought that he was going to know what's going on, but clearly he doesn't.
You must go.
Where should I go?
Out.
Fair enough. I stand up. I managed to get to my feet. Okay. And I remain facing him so as not to turn my back on him, and I keep my head bowed as I move backwards. That's gonna be another strength check, because that's a complex move. Ah! And I nail it. God, I'm so humble. This is not how I thought this was gonna go. Okay, great. I am now back out in the cave, and I've got to find a way out of here. I don't have a host. I'm in an area that is split by a river, and that sucks. I'm not going to be able to swim across it. I have to figure out another way to get through this area. I don't want to go back through the chamber that Dvorak is in. I really don't. I feel like if he sees me again right now, it's just going to make him think even less of me than he already does. I'm going to do another perception check. Okay, I think I got a plan. It's not great. There's something swimming around in the water. Current's not super strong, so it's able to kind of stay in the same area. I can't tell what it is. I thought it was a fish. I didn't get a high enough perception to see. No thinking! F it. That's how this perk works. Nope. I immediately throw myself into the water, going for a swan dive to basically just go at this thing. I thought for less than 1 second, so I get a +1 on this roll. 13 strength to do this.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no! Okay, probably shouldn't have done that. Okay, we'll see. Oh! I blindside this mother. I come just swan diving in with my brute force Geronimo scream. It is caught completely off guard. I beat it by 10 points. I forced my way into that coat. I've got one arm through one sleeve, and I'm struggling to get the other one on. I'm not in a fish. That's what that oh no roll was earlier. On a scale of 1 to 4 in terms of how dangerous this thing is, it's a 4. I think I found the bee bag for the cave. The big bad evil guy, the final boss. I was probably supposed to fight this guy with my host. Now I'm just straight up trying to possess it. So before I can even feel anything, we're both going at it. And this thing does not want to be possessed. I beat it by 10 last time, it beat me by 10 this time. I immediately flub the possession. I get halfway in and then I'm stopped. This next one's gonna determine if I'm gonna be able to do this or if I'm about to be booted out of the bee bag. And I critted like a motherfucker! Okay. So I'm gonna call this one Constrictor. The longer that like a host and I are struggling against each other, the stronger I get. I get the win, so I basically get into the body, but now I'm gonna say that there's a mental doorway, right? We got 2 captains for 1 ship. So now I basically have to slam that door, I have to push him to the other side of the house so that I can kind of take the reins of this thing. And I crit it again. And he got a 2! So clearly this character was designed for the possession aspect, because that's where I'm racking up these crits. Ooh! So here's how the door is going to work, the mental door. So I know I'm running 2 simultaneous metaphors. Coat is the metaphor for getting into the body. The door is for controlling the body. I have 2 choices when I get into the coat. I can either mentally banish the true host to the other side of the building, and that means that I don't get any other bonuses. But if I keep them still kind of in control, I will get the benefits that they have, but everything I do will be more difficult. So 2 pilots is going on right now. I can make the choice to either banish the B-Bag or I can have it co-pilot. I don't want this thing co-piloting, so I am going to go ahead and slam the door in its face. I got the 20, this is the 20 and the 2 roll, so I don't have to do anything else. I feel it being kind of banished, and it's making all sorts of horrible hissing noise. It's scratching. The door is closed, and once I've closed the door, as far as I'm aware, it can't be reopened until I let it be. A crit would change that. A critical fumble would change that. That could be a thing that happens in the future. But, man, I'm going to try to figure out what the hell kind of body I'm in. The first thing I should figure out is, can I breathe underwater? Because I'm still underwater. I can. Cool. Okay, so this host is amphibious. I can feel that I'm at least able to breathe underwater. I'll try going on land in a second. I am going to try to figure out how my limbs work, how this whole thing functions. It's feeling like a xenomorph. That's the first thing that's kind of coming to my head. Can this thing see? Very well. This thing has sonar. But, okay, so this is how the 2 pilots thing works. Sonar is a mental ability. If this thing was still in control, I could use its sonar. But I banished it on the other side of the door, so I don't have access to the sonar because I just don't know how to use it. It could do sonar. I still have dark vision, thank goodness, so I can see. I'm not utilizing this thing to the fullest extent, but that's what you get when you... I can breathe. I can move. I'm going, yep, Geronimo. I'm not going to get out. I'm going to follow the river. Now you're probably thinking, Ben, that's going to lead you deeper into the cave because water flows downhill. Yeah, I was told to get out by Dvorak, so I'm gonna get out. That's my plan. I'm just full throttle, strength check. I want to go into the current and I want to go as far and as fast as I can. Not bad. Still figuring out the whole strength thing. It's not graceful. So I find myself, I can see, but I'm going approximately 15 miles an hour down this log flume, except my face is the front of the log. So if I hit a rock, I'm gonna find out if I kill the host, if it kills me too. That's on the agenda right now, I'm pretty sure. And I'm gonna do everything that I can to see any obstructions before they come flying into me. First one, no, I don't see... Low battery already? Okay. Of course my camera died right as we were getting into that. In what I think is the B-Bag, flying down a Black River, going 50 miles an hour, trying not to smash into anything. And I just rolled a 3, that's right. Okay, so this is not gonna go great. Because when I had to be prepared for it, I was not. I hit a rock going about 50 miles an hour. Let's see if I'm able to make any kind of a save to help myself. And I critted. Okay. This is the weirdest character I think I've ever played. I'm going to boost off the back of Street Smart. The more physical force I'm able to generate, the better I'm able to respond. Again, this character is all about just getting in there and knuckling down and just doing it. It can't be called Street Smart anymore. It doesn't even make sense. So what should I call it? I'm just gonna call it Breakneck. I should have hit this thing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I should be in serious trouble right now. I'm not, though. Rock comes flying at me, and like I said, I just scoot my way around it. I'm still not super used to this body yet. The fingers are weirdly long and delicate. 50, I'm operating at a +2. If I was at 60, I'd be operating at a +3. That tracks. There's not a lot of ways to go 60 miles an hour. Okay, so yeah, so I am hurtling down, so I am doing all of this at a +2. I'm gonna say there's another log coming my way that I'm gonna try to get around. 9, this one's not nearly as pretty. I hit it pretty ungracefully, but I don't hurt myself. Yeah, it bruises my ego a little bit. I keep going, and eventually, let's see. Really? Really? Okay. Really? Okay. The river leads outside. I was expecting to be deposited into some kind of underground lake. Ah! I got another 20! Oh my god, I should have a roll cam so that you guys know. I mean, those of you who know me, you know that I wouldn't just be making this stuff up. I don't find it interesting to cheat. So, okay, that's how I'll do it. So, because what happens is I get fired out of a waterfall. I basically get just shot into a lagoon. But I got a 20, which means that, so Breakneck, it's doubled if I'm not on the ground. So I go firing out, woo, but it's fine. I am landing at a +4. That's an extra 20% odds that I'm gonna be fine when I land. I am just hitting the water, so basically I'm trying to do a smooth re-entry. With my +4, I get a 12, so that's not bad. And immediately, I am grabbed, dragged under, and we enter initiative. I was wondering when I was gonna get to initiative. I want to see this guy in combat. Oh god, I found the B-Bag, just for the record. I hadn't found him before, but I can already tell. This is the bad guy. I got my butt handed to me on initiative. First thing that I realized is whenever I'm fighting, it's huge. Very clearly, this thing that I'm in right now, the host that I have, that's not the B-Bag. That's not the B-Bag, you guys. We're about to fight the B-Bag, and the B-Bag has me in its mouth right now. Let me back up. So, in the 2 seconds that I'm allowed, I come shooting out of this waterfall, I land in the lagoon. I immediately know something's off. I don't know what yet. I still don't know where I am. I don't know what country I'm in. I still don't know who I am, just for the record. We'll get there. Grabbed and dragged under. So now I am I'm being dragged toward the ground, and it's a very good thing that I can breathe. It's strong enough that it's basically just dragging me down. I don't want to go wherever it's taking me. How in control am I right now? How good am I at responding to... Oh, not very. It turns out that I get pretty freaked out. Wow. Okay, I changed the lighting and I changed the frames. This is gonna look really different. Thank you for bearing with me. What are we doing? Oh yeah, I'm being dragged. And I found out, yeah, so, I am extremely not in control right now. So that means that the first thing that I'm gonna try to do, I'm just gonna stab it where I think its eyes are. That ain't great. Oh, but it's good enough. Awesome, so I wildly stab out again. So the way that my fingers work, they're extremely long and thin. They're probably made to do some kind of like a fishing trap like that. What I'm trying to do is gouge, and it's not going great. I go raking across. I'm flailing all about. I'm probably screaming, but since the idiot in my head has been screaming this entire time, I can't hear it. It is by the skin of my teeth that I managed to catch this thing in the eye, and it's not able to hold on. So I am able to break away because I make a serious strength check, and between the pain of getting hit in the eye and the sudden push, it's not expecting it. It stops. I was hoping it was just gonna continue going so it would give me a second to kind of like get my bearings. So it comes to a halt, and it's like feeling a continent turn to stare at you. And I'm very, very confident that I'm not going to die if I die in this host, but I don't know. Geronimo, I'm gonna find out. I'm playing the character the way it was designed by the universe, so I'm not going to try to swim away. This thing is only 10 feet in front of me. I'm just gonna bull rush it again. I'm gonna try to make a strength check to go as hard as I can, and I'm going for the gills. I'm gonna see if this thing has gills. I'm gonna try to jam my big old spidery fingers in there. First thing, strength check to swim my way over there to get as much speed as possible. Pretty good. Okay, so with a 14, that's gonna compound off of... So breakneck kicks in because I'm moving quickly. I can get up to about 20 miles an hour because the thing I'm in is made to swim, and I am not on the ground, so I'm operating at a +2, which is pretty frickin' sweet. So my breakneck kicks in, I'm going for a +2, and I got a 14, so I actually got a 16, so I'm able to make it fine. I think it's gonna be a perception check. I've got a good idea of where its gills are, but I first have to see if I can actually hit them. And I critical fumble. No! Okay. Cannonball is gonna be the name of this one. This quirk. When I'm moving quickly, I basically go functionally blind. Breakneck kicks in when I'm going fast. Breakneck doubles when I'm not on the ground. But Cannonball makes it so that anything where I have to do with visuals is automatically at a -2 when I'm going fast. I am not able to see anything, and I basically just go flying into the side of this thing, and I guess I'm just gonna start swiping and hoping that I get lucky. I'm just gonna make a attack roll. Nothing. I am now directly next to its mouth. I basically swam up and attacked it. I mean, yeah, it's just gonna turn and try to bite me. It turns and it bites me. So it successfully lands the attack. Now I've got to figure out if it get caught or if I just get hurt. We both suck. We both got a 2 on that roll. So I guess neither of us were expecting that bite to go through. Oh no. It's huge. It's biting me. It's gonna do a D6 worth of damage, and I have no frickin' clue how much health my guy has. It does 6 points of damage. Are you kidding me? So it just did the maximum possible damage to my host. I'm confident my host has more than 6 health points, but I have to roll for it now, because this is the first time I've had any kind of proof. I had 3 health points. I thought that the thing that I was in was the B-Bag. It was like no, it was not. It was not the B-Bag. Here's how this roll goes. My host was just killed. If I get a critical fumble, that means that if I am in the host when it dies, that I die, and the campaign ends right here. I hope this doesn't just end here, because this is a really cool character. And it's a 4. It's a 4, ladies and gentlemen. I don't die. I don't do great, but I don't die. I rolled below a 5, so I'm gonna take damage from this happening too. Oh god. Now I have to find out how many hit points I have, as me, not as the thing. Okay. I have 6 points of health as me. I take 3 points of damage. The overlap goes on to me as Corsair. Body is like ripped off of me. It's different than me kind of getting out of it like it was when I was talking to Dvorak. Now I'm just this free-floating, invisible, corporeal being, and I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. But I'm gonna try to possess whatever just ate me. Oh man. That was its turn. It killed me, so that's the end of its turn. It's going to go ahead and start munching on my corpse. Yeah, I am just going to straight up attack this massive thing and try to possess it. So I am just going to do a strength check to hit it as hard as I can, get as much inertia as I can. I was so close to getting a 20, and instead I got a 2. Oh man. Okay, so it turns out that I am not capable of possessing things that are a size category larger than I am. Fair enough. I gotta get away. That was my turn, was trying to attack it. Does it know I'm here? I'm invisible, but, I mean, I'm in the water, so I'm making commotion, so invisible doesn't count for much. It knows. It's going to swing around and try to bite me. What percentage mischance do I have? What percentage miss? 50% mischance. Okay, that's pretty insane. If he rolls above a 10, he hits me. If he rolls below a 10, he misses. He rolled a 10. He didn't roll above a 10. He rolled a 10. So he misses. This subway car comes flying back through the water, going inches from my face. I can't possess it. I can't kill it. I have to run from it. So I am just going to try to sprint out of the water. And by that I mean, sprinting is running as hard as you can. Is there a word for swimming as hard as you can? Swimmed. If there isn't one, I swimmed for the shore. All of my energy into a strength check. 15, baby. All right, so I get moving, and I am just trying to do a strength check to launch myself out of the lagoon and onto the beach. I can feel it coming up behind me. I can feel its jaws opening up like a mountain, and we tie. We tie. So basically, it kind of catches me in its teeth, but it's partially beached itself. That's the only way that we could both tie when I was already ahead of it. Now I'm going to use fire. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to concentrate, and I'm going to try to blow a gout of fire directly into its gums. We're going to try burning its gums. We don't burn its gums. It's going to try to make a strength check to drag me back into the water. It does not make a strength check to drag me back into the water. So we're both just kind of stuck here. What's my third spell? No way. No way it's that convenient. Pry. It is definitely not my most used spell, but I know it. I am able to successfully cast the Pry spell. It's going to be basically an opposing strength check. Well, he critted and I didn't. Turns out this thing, hey! This thing is immune to magic! Oh my god, that's why it's taken me so long. Okay. Unfortunately, that's kind of most of what I can do here. I need to see if it can drag us back into the water. But, okay, no, it can't. This thing is beached. It needs 400 people from Florida to come push it back into the water, and it's not gonna get that. It got a 2 on its strength check to get itself back in the water. It wasn't built for this. Does it still have the corpse of my previous host in its mouth? Most of it is, actually. The head, it's had its head taken off, but a good chunk of this thing is still there. What I'm looking for is the hand. So I am going to try to make a strength check to basically rip the arm off of this thing. I almost got a 15, and instead I got a 5, you guys. Ah! Oh god. Okay, it's figuring out how to do it. So it was able to kind of make like a rolling motion with its body to kind of flop backwards. I'm gonna try to rip the arm off again. Because I wasn't strong enough the first time doesn't mean that I can't do it. I got a lower number that time, so maybe it does. Okay, if this thing makes it back in the water, I'm in serious trouble. And it doesn't! Come on, man. Give me the arm. Give me the arm. Ah! 19, finally. Okay, so I have this arm in my possession. I'm basically going to use it... What? Almost like a pickaxe? Oh man, I am so ill-equipped for this. And I'm just gonna try to slam it into this thing's gums. It's my only idea. And 11. Okay, and 11. Let's see how good this thing is with pain management. Not good! Okay, fantastic. So I managed to take the arm and I jam it into this thing's gums. That causes it to kind of recoil in terror. It's already still freaking out because it's stuck on the land. This combination is enough to let me go. So I am let loose. I come falling down. It's not a graceful landing. I'm glad no one else is there to see it. Yeah, Geronimo, I'm going back for it. What's my plan? Stupid. I have nothing. I have no way to fight this. I already know I can't possess like a tree and make a tree fall on it. I already know and if I'm doing that, then I'm running away from the battle anyway. So, I am going to book it. I'm just gonna make a strength check to run away. Brave Sir Robin, he critically ran away. I'm gonna call it to boldly flee. +2 whenever I'm being a coward. kind of thought that I was going to be a badass, and I'm not. I am extremely good at turning tail and just booking it. Yeah, I successfully managed to get away from the grotto. It takes a little while for me to kind of calm down. And it's at that point that I actually start to look around, and I realize why everything feels so off. Nothing stays on the table. Okay, that's the one that I wanted the least, but fair enough. Okay. So I don't know how long I was in the cave, but it's clear that it's not like I went to sleep last night and I woke up in the cave this morning. I've been gone for a considerable amount of time because what's happened is the world's become a desert. It is now an ambient temperature of around 110 degrees. As I look around, I'm seeing that there are spots of fire off in the distance where entire groves are going up. Let me see if I can figure out where I am. Okay. I'm good at topography, it would seem, because I'm in Rivostria, which would make sense. Okay, so I had briefly mentioned that earlier that the Rivostrians are the ones who are super into technology. They're basically in the midst of the Roaring Twenties in terms of culture. They're all about capitalism. It would make sense that this is where I would find Dvorak then, because he is one of their patron deities. The area that I am currently in used to be a forest, and I can see that because there's dead, burned tree trunks all around me. Even though it wasn't a sandy kind of area before, it's already feeling desolate. Overall, it's extremely unpleasant, and the fact that I'm incorporeal, it helps a little bit with the heat, but I am manifested enough that I definitely can still feel it. Already, I'm starting to kind of heat up, and it's obvious I'm not going to be able to survive out here. The scariest thing is Rivostria is fairly far to the north. Places like Thundark, places like Balatria, they were already fairly desert before whatever this apocalypse was. So it's entirely possible that there is nothing south of the kind of middle strip of colonies. Oh, wow. So I take all of this in. I move to whatever little bit of shade I can find. It's clear that I'm going to have to get a plan together pretty quickly, but soon I realize that I'm not alone. There's another figure standing near me, and it takes me a minute to kind of process what I'm seeing. It's an automaton, but it's unlike any kind of automaton I've ever seen. There's pieces of metal, but they're only floating in a loosely human shape. They're not interconnected. They're not even moving very much. So this mystical being is kind of standing near me, and I'm out of a host right now, so I can talk freely, but I don't know what to say.
Somewhat impressed.
And I realize that this is Dvorak again. This is a different manifestation of the god. I'm just gonna ask him. I'm going to say, what happened? We're standing side by side, both looking out over this desert, and he says quietly,
I don't know.
And so I ask him, why am I here?
I don't know.
And I'm trying to find a way to articulate the questions and not offend this deity when he speaks up again.
We must work together.
And I'm taken back by this, and I'm surprised. It's clear that he doesn't like me. And I ask, are we supposed to save the world? And with complete certainty, he looks back at me and he says,
We are here to destroy what's left.
And ladies and gentlemen, I think that is where I am going to end the first episode of D&D and Me. It wasn't exactly how I thought it was gonna go. I mean, I gotta be honest, I ran through about a dozen different characters in my head, and none of them were anything close to this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you were able to get some entertainment out of it. I had a pretty good time. To be completely honest, this was basically the introduction. So if this was something interesting, if you'd like to see more of this, I would absolutely love to do another couple of episodes. There's as much content as you guys are interested in seeing. I still don't know what race I am. I still have no idea if I was a physical being before. I don't know where I'm from. I still don't really know how I wound up in the cave. There's a lot about this that I'm not aware of, and I'm not going to know until we play again. So, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you want to see more, and even more, hopefully, there will be more to come. So thank you. This is Ben Fisk for the Darkfall Protocol, signing off.